The 6th year of USL League One enters the postseason. Each year has been a treat in serving some playoff classics, and this year, it all starts right now in Greenville, South Carolina. It's the contending Greenville Tribe, ever present in the playoffs, playing host to the first-time postseason visitors, One Knoxville, on ESPN+, brought to you by the YMCA of Greenville. Here is the bracket brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center. My name is Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Ross Davenport. When we look at the way the seeding's lined up, this one would suggest it's going to be the closest one this weekend.
Yeah, it should be two teams. Listen, Knoxville could have jumped into that fourth spot and had a home game here. Things were very tight coming down the stretch. One of the best defenses against one of the best offenses in the league.
When talking about the offense for the Greenville Tribe, they've been really good this season, second in the league in that regard. But the story this season, Ross, has been, it seems like there's two Greenville Triumph teams we've seen this season. The one that can score banger goals and looks like they could make a run all the way to the final. And then there's the not-so-good Greenville Triumph. It's been flip-flopping all season long.
Yeah, they haven't been great at home either. 6 undefeated in all comps to start the season. Took a bit of injuries, took a toll in the summer, but on a good streak coming into this one.
Someone who's been on a good streak for most of this season is Lion McKinnon, the Golden Boot winner for the Greenville Triumph.
Yep, 16 League One goals, 6 goals in other competitions, as well as 8 total assists. Always a threat coming off that left wing for Rick Wright, one of the best long-distance shooters in the league. Loves to keep them low into those corners where the goalkeepers have trouble getting to.
And when it comes to having trouble with attacking and scoring, that's where Knoxville stands. No team has conceded less goals than this Knoxville team this year.
Just 16 allowed in 22 games. That back three of League One veterans, Jordan Skelton, Jalen Criz, along with Danny Fernandez, a holdover from the club's USL League 2 days. They've been stellar. They haven't allowed a team to score multiple goals since June, and that was a 2-0 loss to guess who, Mark? Greenville. Last 13, only one loss, and that was to Omaha.
And they've got their anchor in the back once again. Sean Lewis, back-to-back Golden Glove winner. Missed the last few games to close out the season, but he will be playing tonight in the playoffs.
Been dealing with that knee injury, but big addition back tonight. They haven't missed a beat defensively without him, though. Former Indy 11 and FC Tulsa man won the Golden Glove for a second straight season. Huge boost to have him back between the pipes tonight for Ilya Illich's crew.
It's the Golden Boot versus the Golden Glove. The exciting Greenville offense versus the subjugating defense of Knoxville. Who will be moving on to the USL League One semifinals? Find out with us up next on ESPN+.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we are proud to be a family-owned practice, serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. At Wood Creek Dental, we believe in quality care and exceptional service. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. We've invested in modern technology and have created a relaxing atmosphere for your comfort and peace of mind. We prioritize your experience in our calm and caring atmosphere. Our commitment to providing you and your family with exceptional service is at the heart of everything we do, and our patient-centered approach builds relationships based on trust and confidence. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
This USL League One broadcast is brought to you by YMCA of Greenville, proud sponsor of the Greenville Triumph. Here are your starting lineups. First off, for the home side Triumph, brought to you by Pelham Medical Center.
One change as Rick Wright opts to try and keep momentum from that 5-1 win over Tormenta last week. Gunther Rankenberg comes in for his 5th start in 7 for Christian Garner in between the pipes. No Hayden Anderson in the 18. Pascal Corvino, after that goal last week, he keeps his spot on the right over the injured Ben Zakowski, who is on the bench.
Meanwhile, for one Knoxville, this is the side that Ilya Ilic is trotting out here for this first ever professional playoff game.
Yep, 3 changes for Ilya Ilic. Out goes Zarakostas, O'Hearn, and Garibay. Obviously, Sean Lewis coming back to reclaim his normal starting spot in goal. Angelo Kelly, only his 3rd start in 11. He'll be on the right side of Kempis Tequila. Gio Calixtro comes in at the right wing-back spot for Sean O'Hearn.
And, of course, Sean Lewis returning in between the pipes for Ilya Ilic's side. The Golden Glove winner looking to see if they can do what they've done all season, which is stifle opposing offenses. But this is a Greenville offense that is particularly potent, especially with number 9 right there, Liam McKinnon. 16 goals this season in league play. He scored more than that when you account for Jägermeister Cup, for the Open Cup. The fact of the matter is he scores goals in whatever competition he plays in. Can he do it here in postseason play in USL League One? This is the 6th year of USL League One's existence. Every year, aside from 2020, of course, extenuating circumstances, we have had some fantastic playoff games in the history of this league. Some upsets, some tightly contested affairs, some wonderful late game winners. Will one of these teams author another iconic moment here this afternoon? We are so excited to get you playoff action here this Saturday that we're starting it off early for you. 2 p.m. kickoff Eastern time. Greenville in their green kits at home. The road whites for Ilya Ilic's side.
Yeah, big thanks to the schedule makers for the staggered starts today. Obviously 1 game tomorrow as well.
So for those League One fans, they'll be able to indulge on the majority of the action without having to split their attention. The whistle blows and the 2024 League One playoffs, brought to you by Terminix, is underway. Starting it off, it's the Greenville Triumph in 1 Knoxville here. One of the best offenses against one of the best defenses. It's just the kind of matchup you're looking for in postseason play. It's been a couple months since the last time these two teams played. Greenville having the edge in one of those games. It was a draw the last time they met, and then they did also meet one other time, not in the Jägermeister Cup, but in the Open Cup very early on in the season, and that was an extra time, tightly contested affair. Chapa Herrera scoring the game-winning goal over in Knoxville in that one to advance in the tournament. Perhaps we'll see similar drama here this evening, but of course, so much time has passed since then. These two teams have grown in various capacities.
Greenville picking up those 2 home wins to close the season against Lexington and Tormenta, but Furman has not been a place they've had a ton of success this year. Been a very up and down season on the turf here.
Some pressure from Frank Ross, wins it for Knoxville. And that one looked like it may have come off a hand. Our head referee, Thomas Snyder, does not blow the whistle, though.
Certainly more accidental than anything.
Some cutting being done, and now it's won back once again by Knoxville. Ross has it in the corner. Frank Ross once again. He'll take the shot, and it's into the arms of Gunther Rankenberg.
Positive start for the visiting side there. Frank Ross. Angelo Kelly, mentioned, hasn't been starting a lot lately. And the Ilic said with his experience in this league, he wanted to get him into the starting lineup tonight. We may see Zarakostas later on this one off the bench.
Kempis Tequila now. Gets pushed down, it'll be a free kick for the visitors.
The referee, Thomas Snyder, making his season debut in League One. He spent most of this season refereeing in a championship as well as NWSL.
Let's take a chance to look at our weather report brought to you by Fox Carolina. I mean, that's a beautiful day for some soccer, is it not?
I could run around in 74 degrees, partly cloudy, Mark.
Just what you're looking for. Good, calm weather. You don't have to worry about the sunlight beaming down on you, I would say. There's not many situations you could draw up that's better than that, conditions-wise.
Two balls on the pitch.
A lot of good energy around the building right now. 4-1 in Knoxville, of course. First ever appearance in the professional ranks of playoffs. Of course, they made a playoff run in their inaugural season in USL League Two, but it's a different game when you get to the pros in that regard. Ilya Illich said in training, around the club, just in general, there's a very positive atmosphere at the moment. They've overcome a lot of adversity this season, so to be rewarded with a postseason trip is obviously great news and well earned in that regard. Stuart Ritchie. He's one of those guys that I'd love to unlock offensively here in this postseason, especially if he could connect with the likes of Kempis Tequila up top. Ritchie, one of those guys who can whip in a bevy of crosses. So it's good energy around One Knoxville. It's also very positive energy around the Greenville Triumph right now. Had a fantastic game last weekend for Fan Appreciation Day. John Harkes returned to see the squad, was very complimentary of the way this side plays under Rick Wright in his first year as the head coach. Nearly 4,000 at Paladin Stadium, excuse me. Rick Wright said it was so loud it was hard to communicate with the guys on the pitch. Just a special night into what was a special Wednesday when they announced the breaking ground of the stadium will be coming next year, 2025. Should be open in 2026 for Greenville to play. So the fact of the matter is there's a lot of buzz around the Greenville organization as well as we take a look at Rick Wright. Let's take a look at our keys to the game brought to you by Acumen IT. First off, for the Greenville Triumph.
Yeah, this Knoxville back three, certainly, if not the best in the league, one of the best. Greenville's got to get them moving around a bit, perhaps draw them out, find space in between, in behind, and just got to make them work.
Easier said than done. This is a talented defensive side for One Knoxville. No team has been scored on less than Ilya Illich's crew.
You think of Stuart Ritchie and Gio Calixtro as certainly forward-leaning wing backs, but they do sit back when the opposition's in possession. They will go to a 5 at the back, especially early on the road as they are here. I think Greenville do something special to open them up. We didn't mention it in the open, but Sebastian Velasquez on the bench tonight. Obviously, the normal star in the center of midfield for Rick Wright's men when he's healthy. He's dealing with some illness last week. Obviously, had hamstring trouble earlier this season, so but a big miss there. Well, everybody thought perhaps he'd be back in the lineup tonight, but no, not to be. I'm sure we'll see him later on.
Now, corner kick incoming for the Greenville Triumph. The first corner kick of the afternoon for either side. Set pieces, especially in playoff games, can be the difference maker because sometimes these games can be a little bit tense in the open field. So just proper execution in one dead ball moment can sometimes put one team over the other and push the needle. Chapa Herrera will provide the service. His ball comes spinning in. Daniel Wu heads it back into the fray. Effectively cleared out.
Daniel Wu getting another start tonight. Jamie Smith still dealing with a heel injury. I asked Rick Wright last week if he would have played if it was the playoffs, and he said probably, but still feeling that foot. It's given him some trouble over the last couple of years, some plantar fasciitis.
Here are the away keys to the game brought to you by Acumen IT. If that doesn't drive the point home, I'm not sure what will.
It's also a tequila reference. Kempis Tequila, 7 games without a goal now. We'll need to provide him some service and just get in that final third that looked good in the first couple of minutes, haven't been back there since. Getting that shot and gun to Rankenberg. Leo Castro goes down in a heap.
Castro, the veteran, ailing the back of his head. Contact during an aerial duel, trying to win it for his side.
We always say the old cliche that the first goal in games is so critical, but I think especially in a playoff game like this, if Greenville can get that first goal and force Knoxville to come out of their shell a little bit, it would be massive. I say it's quite as big for Knoxville with the way Greenville can score on occasion, as we saw last week. Twice they've scored 5 goals this season.
So Chapa Herrera and Tyler Polak will stand behind this dead ball. See Greenville loading up on the left side of the penalty area. Polak sends it in, headed outward. Still popping around a little bit, and now that deflection from McKinnon will go out of play here.
You mentioned tight playoff games. We saw the first one in the USL Championship last night. 0-0 went to penalties between two teams that can score, Las Vegas and Sacramento.
Speaking about scoring, if there is a guy that you would anticipate will score today for Greenville if they score, obviously he's '1 on the list for who you would expect. Corvino takes a shot himself, and he'll skip out harmlessly.
Pascal Corvino feeling confident after that goal last week.
It's his first goal in league play, but scored an absolute rocket in the Jägermeister Cup in Richmond. The rookie coming over from Missouri State, which is a pretty premier program at the college ranks.
A run of starts back in the summer. Greenville with a plethora of options on that right side. Ben Zakowski, Zion Scarlett, Hayden Anderson. Mentioned Anderson not in the squad tonight, just losing out. Just a case of numbers.
You can only have so many guys on the bench.
As Rick Wright always talks about, he wants them fighting midweek. Not just for the 11, he wants them fighting for the 18.
That one tapped out. Callum Johnson, a member of the Knoxville midfield. One of the returning players from last year's inaugural season for One Knoxville. They announced they're going to have a new stadium next season. Greenville announcing just earlier this week about their new project, which will break ground next year and then will be in effect in 2026 to be used. At least that's what the plan is, of course. Rick Wright said that they've been working on it for a long time. He found out about a week prior to the announcement that it was official. He said it's a really cool location. He hadn't been there till they had the announcement day. There are restaurants, shops. It's a nice little spot, and it's going to be a really great venue for the Greenville Triumph to call their home once it's ready.
Now the question might be perhaps which league they'll be playing in 2 years. Obviously some rumors about them moving up to USL Championship, as well as Omaha down the road.
So speaking of the stadium, here's a look at the announcement on Wednesday. Great crowd came out. The players really enjoyed themselves. We're waiting to see what the renderings are going to look like, Ross, but they said it's going to be a 10,000-seat stadium. So we see just all of the energy that's around this Greenville Triumph team, one of the founding clubs in USL League One. Started off at Legacy Early College. There were workings of getting a stadium a couple years ago. It fell through. They came to Furman last season. They continued it this year.
Yeah, 2 years ago when they announced it, they had those renderings ready to go. Everybody was oohing and ahhing.
This one headed along, caught by Rankenberg, and he took some unneeded contact at the end of that, and apologies exchanged.
We spoke to Chief Brand Officer Doug Irwin, saying they were being very careful about not announcing this iteration of the stadium until they were finally ready to go and had approval. So I'm sure we're going to wait for the renderings as well to make sure that's all sorted.
Chrysler send this over to the right-hand side. That's an excellent touch. Still going with it now. Ball whipped across, claimed by Gunther Rankenberg.
Flickster causing trouble down that right side. His pace will cause anybody trouble.
Nate Schultz pushing it forward. Something they've been asking him to do more so this season than in years past. Lion McKinnon playing out wide. He'll take a shot himself, and it skips into the hands of Sean Lewis. First time his name needed to be called, the Golden Glove winner. They seemed pretty optimistic he was going to play in this game when we talked to Ilya Illich earlier this week, but it was not a certain case.
Yeah, I'm sure they took it very easy. He's shown in training this week.
He has 7 clean sheets in league play this year, which is second. Of course, they have 9 total this season. John Gary Bay stepping in very nicely in Sean Lewis's absence. Ritchie can't get by Nate Schultz. Oh, he's such a solid defender, Schultz. Can hear the oohing and eyeing of the Brady River Riot. The rest of the Triumph faithful trying to bring that positive energy to give Greenville an edge here at home. You mentioned, Ross, in the open that going into the final week, either one of these teams could have ended up hosting this 4-5 matchup. Charlotte Independence were also in the discussion of being a part of it, although it would have been just one of these 2 teams that could have hosted this match. This one headed upward. Corvino couldn't get on the end of it.
Yeah, as much as Greenville would love to be playing on grass, sleeping in your own bed is always much preferable than the surface issue, that's for sure.
The winner of this match will take on the winner of Union Omaha and the Richmond Kickers, which will take place tomorrow. So after this game is done, fans will just have to make sure they watch that one on the CBS Sports Network to figure out who the next opponent's going to be.
Yeah, that would be a pretty serious upset in Omaha if that was to happen. The CBS Sports Network tomorrow, I think. Deserving for the best team in the league by quite a way this season.
And that will be the question, as this one given away. Tequila tries to beat the keeper near post, but Gunther Rankenberg is ready for the challenge. It was actually Frank Ross, the one on the end of it.
Yeah, Tyler Polak, he's gonna have to buy Gunther Rankenberg a beer at some point here. That was a sloppy giveaway, or miscommunication between him and Daniel Wu. Rankenberg standing up, keeping himself big, getting that knee down. Shut the 5-hole. That could easily have been 1-0.
It's been a conversation around this Greenville team all season long. Gunther Rankenberg versus Christian Garner. As this corner kick comes bending in, still in the mix, and then caught by Rankenberg.
You're talking to Rick Wright about it this week. It seemed like he would love to have really chosen one, but he really said he really couldn't.
McKinnon bested there. There's a demonstration about just how good this Knoxville team can be on the defensive end. That's the Golden Boot winner who has made things happen all season long. Stuffed by Angelo Kelly. This Knoxville team has been a tough nut to crack all season, but especially in recent games. The last 5 matches they played, 4 draws and 1 win. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover.
Yeah, the way Knoxville play is a very effective system on the road. Not even 1 loss in their last 7 League One games away from home. That was at Omaha back in September.
that one booted away for a Greenville throw. Quickly tossed back in. Ilya Illich said, though, despite them not being beaten the last 5, he said those draws have left us felt frustrated. And he didn't think they performed that well against Spokane in their last match of the season, a 0-0 draw. Actually, their last 2 games, 0-0 draws to close out the year. He said, but we've defended great. The goals are coming. He sees it happening in training. It just has to translate to the game. Can't win games without scoring. Well, at least not in the regular season, of course. You could, in theory, advance via penalties in a 0-0 draw. As this one slips through for Evan Lee! And the Greenville Triumph open the scoring. And it's the longtime Greenville man, Evan Lee, finding the back of the net.
He loves those first time finishes, Mark.
Evan Lee, in his 6th year at the Greenville Triumph, he's been here since the beginning, and look who assists him, Tyler Pollock, the other man who has been with this team from the get-go. Those are the 2 guys on the team who have been here with the club from start to now, combining here to give the home side the advantage.
May have taken a slight deflection off Danny Fernandez, who was right in front of Sean Lewis. That man won't care. Evan Lee, former center back, former defensive midfielder, now attacking midfielder. Back to his college days where he used to play number 10 and bang him home on a regular basis. What a time to get one here.
Tyler Pollock and Evan Lee combining on this goal, brought to you by the YMCA of Greenville. I mean, those are 2 darlings in the history of Greenville Triumph, making it happen there. You just talk about Evan Lee, a player that his role has morphed and evolved throughout the years. As he mentioned, used to be the other half of the Brandon Freaky center back duo. Last year, John Hark started experimenting with him in that midfield role, that holding midfield role. And Rick Wright continuing that into this season, and then, of course, plugging him in other spots as well. He's also filled in at fullback at times throughout the years when the need called for it. Just an incredibly smart player, as this one pops through for Tequila.
No time for Knoxville to panic. They've struggled to score goals. I don't think Illich needs to change things up just yet. Perhaps see how we go into the second half. Make small adjustments as they go along, but Knoxville's going to stick to their game plan for now. We mentioned how crucial this early goal could be for Greenville. Tyler Pollock, only his 7th assist in 160-plus games for Greenville. Time for service.
Didn't have any assists in regular season play this year, Tyler Pollock. But they mean a little bit more when you get one in the postseason, so how about that? Fans, make sure to visit shopgreenvilletriumph.com to check out the latest merch and kit launches. Perhaps you could get yourself an Evan Lee jersey. I'm not sure if they have those on the shelves or if you need to get that custom, but just planting ideas into your head.
To charge per letter is cheap too.
Here's Herrera, trying to thread that forward to Castro, but unsuccessful in that attempt. Now running the other way is Frank Ross. Ross rockets that one back up top. Here's an effort from Kelly, and it deflects towards goal. Kempis Tequila got a piece of it, and Gunther Rankenberg falls right on top of it, keeping it safe.
Yeah, good work once again by Frank Ross. The Scotsman's been busy down this left side early. Rankenberg in the right place there. In the middle of his goal, able to go either way if it had deflected either way. It happened, it went right at him. Rankenberg was getting the majority of the starts down the stretch in the regular season. Rick Wright said he did think that one goalie was better at perhaps stopping penalties than others if we get to that stage, but he didn't tell us which one. We'll never know if that was factor in the decision to go with Rankenberg over Garner tonight, or this afternoon, excuse me, on the fine bucket mark. $1 into the fine bucket.
Old habits die hard. Sun's starting to come out now. You can see it getting brighter on the pitch here at Paladin Stadium. Corvino has that one tapped out. Rick Wright had a lot of nice things to say about this Knoxville side on the defensive end. He said they got a great group in the back line. Last time they sat back and let Greenville have possession, and Greenville couldn't do anything with it. Had especially nice things to say about Jordan Skelton, said he's a stalwart in this league. Game's getting clunky here. And now the whistle blows at a free kick going the way of one Knoxville. Getting back up on his feet.
Good bit of defense here. On the second look, perhaps a bit more contact than it looked initially. Not too many complaints from Lyle McKinnon, though. The second one was just a bit clumsy from Anguiano.
Early in the season, this Greenville Triumph team would have possession, would have chances, but then would fall asleep in a given moment and lose due to a counter-attacking goal, Rick Wright was telling us. So the message this week has been mentality about staying locked in for the 90 minutes and not giving Knoxville that chance to get you on the break.
It's difficult in the playoffs. These games are so more taxing mentally than a regular season game. You get up even during the week, all you're thinking about is this knockout game. Get up on Saturday morning, and obviously the time. I think having an afternoon kickoff is also a little different for a lot of these players. Body clock not used to getting up a little earlier, getting to the stadium a little earlier. Can take you a while to grow into the game. Both teams have started brightly here, though.
Meanwhile, in the inverse, Ilya Illich said that this is a Greenville team that looks similar to how they met them last time, but just performing at a higher level. So we get another corner kick. They're more dangerous than ever. When I asked him, how do you slow down Lyle McKinnon? He said that, well, you just can't give him the space to shoot. Of course, that's easier said than done, especially because he could shoot from basically anywhere.
Yeah, we saw that earlier in this contest. Tyler Pollock early in the corner. One thing against this three-back system is if you can get those full-backs going forward and pin those wing-backs as far deep as you can, stops them getting out in the transition a little more. You can see Tyler Pollock trying to play as high as he can. Gotta be careful, though. We've seen him be caught out over the last few years. And he does get a little too far up the pitch.
Another corner kick for Greenville. Goal in the 19th minute by Evan Lee, courtesy of Tyler Pollock. Chapa Herrera sends this one inside, just over the head of Evan Lee. Fans, download the FanSaves app and follow the Greenville Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite restaurants and breweries.
So Chapa Herrera taking that corner, obviously one of the off-season additions for Rick Wright, and I asked him sort of the difference he felt between this season's going into the postseason and last season. He said Chapa Herrera, that is one of the biggest differences. He says not sure how he doesn't make team of the week.
Yeah.
The driving force in the middle of the park for Greenville, where a lot of changes were made. Basically a brand new center midfield.
Evan Lee trying to bring that one down. Yeah, he is, in a way, he's the engine that makes this machine go, Chapa Herrera. And when talking about some of those differences, Rick Wright also mentioned that, I mean, he gave love to Jordan Skelton, but he says we also got one of those guys back there too. Brandon Fricke is another mainstay in the league, and he's really enjoying his footballing right now. Got some really good leaders on this team. And he said we feel confident but not cocky at the moment.
I will say Carlos Anguiano has been one of the real unsung heroes of this season, coming off the bench with Sebastian Velasquez injury.
Schultz wins another corner kick for Greenville. Trying to press onward and really apply the pressure onto this Knoxville defense.
Yeah, Guyana was sort of one of the quieter off-season signings, dropping down from the USL Championship, and I mentioned started the season on the bench, but has played a big role in Greenville's success this season.
Another corner kick for Greenville.
Guy that Rick Wright saw play against Greenville in the US Open Cup last year. That's why when you play these games, you never know who's watching you.
Polak whips this one in, punched away by Lewis. Let's see if a counterattack can be sprung here by one Knoxville. That's well addressed. Brandon Fricky is ailing after the fact, and he's clutching his right arm. That's actually Herrera.
And that's a concern. Yeah, Leo Castro is already calling for the substitution. Let's take another look at it here. Oof, just landed awkwardly on that right wrist slash elbow area, and he was already calling for the trainer. That could be bad news for the Greenville Triumph, as we were just talking about Chapo Herrera, what he means to this team. Well, we see Sebastian Velasquez now a little earlier than perhaps we thought we would.
Landed badly there, and you just hope it's nothing serious, but the early signs would indicate that.
Yeah, the reactions weren't good. There's nothing how you can tell how bad an injury is by the reaction of the players. Right, thinking hard here about what to do. Straight up substitution would be Velasquez. There he is there to come in. Zakowski also an option perhaps, but we're not sure how his leg's feeling. Dealing with a hamstring injury of late. Get warmed up quickly here.
Well, if Velasquez is the one to come in, this is the kind of guy they're going to get. He was the highlight player that the Greenville Triumph signed this season going into the year. Returning back to his hometown of Greenville, South Carolina. Has a boatload of experience in the USL Championship, and we have seen that talent flourish at times this year on the offensive side of the ball. His creativity, just his ability to pull strings and be so apt with the ball at his feet, set other players up into promising moments. Has 2 goals himself this year. It took him a hot minute to get onto the score sheet in that regard. But you talked about it earlier, Ross. At times has struggled with availability this season, Velasquez, but when he's out there and he's feeling good, he could do some magical work.
Stat for you, the 5 games Chapo Herrera missed earlier this season. Greenville did not win any of those 5 games. I will say 2 of them were against Omaha, 1 was against Hailstorm. The other one was that 0-0 draw with Knoxville. And yeah, this doesn't look good for Chapo Herrera. Got a hard cast on that arm now, which would suggest something worse than perhaps just a sprain.
So he'll continue to get checked on by the training staff here for the Greenville Triumph. And you mentioned it, and we've already talked about it, just how crucial of a player this guy is.
Greenville only scored 2 goals in those 5 games, but Herrera missed no more for his defensive prowess at the 6th spot than anything. Greenville only scored 1 goal in the 1-1 draw with Richmond and a goal in the 3-1 loss at Omaha. This could be a total game changer here. Obviously, Chapo Herrera not going to be able to continue.
Herrera, player who covers so much ground game in and game out. The first thing that sticks out about the way he plays is his work rate. So not only is that something you're missing just in the player that he is, but when you have a player who works that hard, it's infectious. And other players just want to do what they can to work as hard as a Chapo Herrera. Now every player and some opposing players offering words of consolement. And coming in to take his place is Sebastian Velasquez. You imagine this will mean that Anguiano will step further back. Velasquez will push further up.
You see what they also do with Evan Lee. Perhaps may drop back into more of a double pivot. Chapa obviously upset having to leave in this fashion.
So there's Velasquez coming in. We'll have to play 60 minutes, at least. The substitution brought to you by Spinks. And now we see how these two teams respond to that. Obviously, we wish the best as far as the health of Chapa Herrera is concerned. You'll hope it's nothing too significant, but we did see the thick casket built on the spot for Herrera. Now we have to return to the game of soccer.
It looks like Lee and Aguiano will play in that double pivot in the 4-2-3-1. And Velasquez is the attacking midfielder. In the center of the park, obviously where he loves to roam.
Here's Stuart Ritchie. Gets by Schultz. Ritchie plays it himself. And it goes off the upright of the field goal post. Too much air underneath that one for Stuart Ritchie.
Stuart Ritchie with his wrist and thumb taped up pretty heavily. It's going to take a little bit for Greenville to settle here.
Check out all the exciting postseason action in November. The 2024 USL playoffs presented by Terminix showcase the top teams battling it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLLeague1.com for all the latest playoff information.
And we'll just be looking to get a bit of possession here. Try and get their heads back into this game.
Got the early goal, courtesy of Evan Lee and Tyler Polak. So right now the question is posed onto Knoxville to find a goal and answer. Greenville without now the presence of the ever-energetic Chapa Herrera, going down after making a challenge in the air, landing badly on his arm. Both of these teams would love to get another goal in here before the end of the half. A 2-goal advantage for Greenville would really put them in a good spot. Meanwhile, Knoxville, if they can level this game up by halftime, then they could start adjusting and tweaking to add a little more offensive edge, especially now that they don't have to account for number 8 on Greenville. This is a unit that's been so good defensively all season long, Knoxville. Ilya Illich said that early in the year it was working, and from there they just built on that success all season long. It just got better and better as the year went along. As McKinnon trying to head that one around. Ran out of real estate there though.
So Leo Castro coming back on the previous possession, just trying to get involved. He's been left a little isolated up top. One of those guys that can pop up at any time though, put one in the back of the net.
So Ilya Illich a moment to go. Worth reiterating. Stepped in and took charge middle of the season after the parting of ways between Knoxville and Mark McKeever. It's a really tough spot to be put in for anybody. And Ilya Illich just recently was a pro. Played for Knoxville last season. Stepped into the assistant coaching role this year and now having to learn on the job in many regards. But they maintained their form, they maintained the way that they were playing prior to that, and that did enough to get them to the postseason as Corvino just a hair shy of Sean Lewis there.
There's a nice ball in, a great first touch by Corvino. He almost slowed up slightly. I think he was sure exactly how close that ball fell to his feet. Another look at it here. He just sort of stumbled a little bit. Perhaps would have got to it before Sean Lewis had he Not stumbled.
Reggie playing that one up ahead, trying to connect with Angelo Kelly, but Brandon Fricke gets there first. Hopeful ball goes in towards Castro. And that Knoxville backline reclaims possession for the away side. Greenville able to snap back offensively after losing on the road against Central Valley Fuego 2 weeks ago, a game they lost 1-0. Rick Wright said they were really exhausted in that one. Those trips to the West Coast really take it out. And he said the vibe was off, we addressed it. And the guys felt they had a point to prove against Tormenta last week. They scored 5 goals in that one, which is a great way to put yourself into a good form going into the playoffs. Mentioned winning a series trophy, the Peach States Derby. Victorious in that regard is always another boost of morale.
Greg was saying that's sort of the first trophy of any kind they've really won. The Bonsecourt Cup, and then they had the Peach States Derby, and obviously, we're talking about a tournament fashion, right? Obviously they won the league in the year of COVID. There was no playoff, didn't get to play their championship game that year.
Velasquez trying to send Lyle McKinnon running, but couldn't keep it in bounds. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings.
Just got the 2 games later on tonight. In the playoffs here in League One, Madison Charlotte at 7 p.m. Eastern and NoCo Spokane at 9 p.m.
A nice full day of USL League One playoff soccer.
Keep your eye on obviously some championship stuff as well. Former League One players. There's a good article on the USL League One website last couple of days about those former League One players. Noe Meza getting the start from Memphis today against Orange County. They're playing right now.
That's great for Noe Meza. He wasn't seeing minutes earlier on in the season.
Yeah, this is big deal there for him to be in the 11 for this playoff game against Orange County, who squeaked into the playoffs over the last couple of weeks.
Here come Knoxville now. Calixtro tried to thread that one through. It bounces back to him. He's met by Daniel Wu out there. He's getting another start here. Usually Jamie Smith in that other center back spot, but he's still recovering from injury, and Daniel Wu has done what he needed to do to earn that starting spot once again. It's also his 24th birthday today, so happy birthday to Daniel Wu.
Yeah, another one of those unsung heroes, Daniel Wu. Filled in beautifully on that back line at times this year.
This is, or at least through the regular season, had 11 appearances, 8 starts. So, whenever that back line needed someone to fill into one of those roles, usually Wu would step in, rise to the occasion for Rick Wright and his staff. Corvino. Now Tyler Polak. McKinnon making a run. Gives the back heel back to Polak. Tyler Polak chipping it upward, looking for Castro. And he goes down in the box. The ref says nothing of it, though. Appeals for a penalty will not be appeased.
Referee Thomas Snyder had a great view of this. It was a lovely little dinked ball in by Tyler Polak, looking for a little 1-2 from Castro. Take a better look at it here. And certainly more shoulder to shoulder from that angle. Hence, no real complaints from Castro.
Once again, that back line composed of the likes of Jalen Crisler, Jordan Skelton, Danny Fernandez. And then you get some vigorous defending from Callum Johnson, Sievert Haugley, Angelo Kelly, who are all guys who are willing to get their hands dirty and get the hard work done on that side of the ball.
Mentioned how important that first goal would be for Greenville. 8 wins, no draws, 1 loss this season when scoring the opening goal.
Only 45 minutes through this one. We'll probably get some time tacked on, though, due to the Chapa Herrera injury. Goal scored by Evanly in the 19th minute has given Greenville the advantage. We welcome in all of you who are tuning in watching, whether you're a Greenville fan not at home, you're a third-party observer across the league who's just interested in playoff soccer in the league, or, of course, if you're a Knoxville fan who couldn't make the trip out. I know they had a tailgate party here in Greenville for the fans who made the trip. It's not too far of a drive from Knoxville to Greenville. At least it's shorter than many of the trips one could make from one USL League One city to another.
Oh yes, we got Boise coming in now. It's not going to be a short trip for anybody. Maybe Madison, not too bad.
Maybe by Spokane.
Omaha, yes. Not too bad for those guys. Tyler Pollock. Miscommunication there between him and Liam McKinnon. But yeah, most of this attack has been down this left side for Greenville over the last half hour or so.
Briefly mentioned the new stadium they'll be getting next year, a multi-use stadium. That'll also be the home to the Knoxville Smokies baseball team next year. Love seeing teams acquiring their own homes in USL League One.
Former employer of mine.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Former Smoky Ross Davenport.
Along with Mike Watring, who does USL Championship games, another former Smokies employee.
Richie trying to feed that one in. Deflects off of Brandon Fricke. It'll be a corner kick. Brandon Fricke, one member of that Greenville Triumph leadership group. Of course he is, wearing the captain's armband. Rick Wright has mainly led the talk about what playoffs are like to those leaders on the team. They briefly talked about how different it might be, but they've got a lot of guys with experience in playoff situations on this Greenville Triumph team. Tequila will provide the corner kick here.
Yeah, leadership group has obviously been part of 3 straight playoff losses. Greenville looking to end that streak here today. Lost Omar in the final in 21, Tormenta in the semis 2 years ago, and then Charlotte last year.
You got guys with a bevy of experience in League One playoff games, and then you tack in a guy like Leo Castro, who's seen quite a bit of postseason soccer elsewhere, along with, of course, last season. Throwing Sebastian Velasquez and Chapa Herrera on top of that. A lot of voices to communicate just what these knockout soccer games mean. And Rick Wright said it's what you play the game for. You want to be in this atmosphere. Yeah, of course you have to acknowledge that it might be a little tighter, a little bit more tense, but you got to remember that you've worked your whole life, you've practiced for days in and days out to get the opportunity to play in a game like this.
Greenville, they've been outshot 5-3 so far, 3-2 on target, but I'd say they've certainly had full control of this first half. Both before and after the Chapa injury, Knoxville have had a couple of moments. Possession-wise, Greenville almost at 59% now.
I mean, I would say probably the most promising moments of this game for Knoxville were those first 3 minutes of the match where they were picking pockets and generating quick opportunities before this match really got settled in.
You see Greenville quite happy to get 10, 11 players behind the ball. Get this one to the half. Take balls like that all day.
Rolls out of bounds, and with 2 of the 5 minutes transpired, looking more and more likely that this will be the scoreline we'll go into the break with. Greenville will be looking to see how they could preserve that 1-goal advantage for another 45 minutes. Knoxville, the question for them is the question that's been posed throughout the near entirety of the season, which is how are they going to get some goals on the board? McKinnon with the turn. A nice challenge there. Disarms line McKinnon before he can really put himself in a dangerous spot.
And we'll see what Ilya Illich does if he sticks with this tactical formation. See, you're out of possession. You got 5 at the back basically, and then the 2 deep lying midfielders. And 7 of you behind the ball almost at all times. It's hard to get that transition game going. Greenville have to be careful on the set pieces. Given any of those away in dangerous positions yet, really.
2 or 3 corner kicks is about the best in that regard that Knoxville have gotten. Hernandez playing that one centrally. There's Callum Johnson.
With that said, Greenville won't want to sit back either on this 1-0 lead. They want that second goal.
Calixtro driving in a ball, and Daniel Wu. No nonsense there, but still in play. Tyler Pollock knocks that one in a positive direction for the home side. It's an afternoon affair here at Paladin Stadium. Second time this season Greenville have had one of these earlier games, but of course the other one taking place over in Clemson, which is actually the former home of Callum Johnson, one of the midfielders for this Knoxville side. That was just a couple of weeks ago against Lexington when Greenville had that match.
Speaking of Clemson and Greenville, give a shout out to Hal Hirschfeld, former Liberty and Clemson player, started for the U.S. Women's National Team earlier this week. Awesome stuff.
Nearly run out of the 5 added minutes here in the first half of action. Need to be smooth there in that passing along the back line. Pressure from Knoxville, and now Greenville hoping to author one more moment before the whistle. And now we're gonna hit the 50-minute mark.
The frustration on Jordan Skelton's face, both for that foul and the way this first half has gone for Knoxville. I'll go into the break, down a goal on the road in the playoffs.
And that goal scored by Evan Lee, that man right there. All-time Triumph player, assisted by another all-time Triumph player, Tyler Pollock. The 2 vets connecting to give this Greenville team the 1-0 advantage going into the halftime break. So now the question is, will this scoreline retain for another 45 minutes? Only one way to find out, and that's to stay locked in here on ESPN+. We've got some great halftime content coming your way on the other side of that break. We'll see you then, but after 45, it's 1-0 in favor of Greenville.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
One little lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean big. Bigger than jackpot big. Like back in 2014, when lottery funds helped upgrade South Carolina's classrooms, giving students the tools they needed to follow their biggest ideas wherever they live, through school and far beyond. For over 20 years, the biggest lottery wins have been and always will be for our state students. After all, education is our middle name.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
South Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's reliable, that stays affordable. To do this, we're investing in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that South Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
1-0 at halftime of the opener in the 2024 USL League One playoffs. Greenville leading 1 Knoxville. In case you're unfamiliar with all the teams participating in this playoff bash, we prepared a primer here for you. Let's go down the seating, shall we? First off, with the back-to-back Player Shield winners, Union Omaha. The Owls are once again the best that the league has to offer as far as the 22 regular season games are concerned, and for good reason. Dom Casciato's side is quality from top to bottom, from Rashid Nuhu to the likes of Pedro Dolabella on the other end, scoring goal after goal. They have every reason to believe that they can win it all this year. The question for them is, can they avoid repeating history of last season? They were first place last year and got bounced in the semifinals in penalties to Charlotte, so they want to make sure that doesn't happen again. And a team that will be looking to contend with them is Northern Colorado. The Hailstorm, Eamon Zayed's side, has been really good this season, and they've got a Jägermeister Cup championship to show for it. Can they win the double in that regard? They'd be the first team to do so, given the Jägermeister Cup's first year being this season, and they have been on one heck of a hot streak as of late. Can they maintain that streak going into the playoffs? They certainly have some dangerous weapons. Ethan Horde, Bruno Rendon, and then Lalo Delgado and others along in this side. They've been so good all season, and they have all the tools to win it all. Another team that has a ton of tools, Forward Madison. Matt Glazer in his third year. They've been slowly building up this program season after season. And the first thing that sticks out about this team to me is they have so much depth. When you get into the second half, you're making substitutions. Matt Glazer looks to the guys who come off the bench, and there is no drop in quality. They're going to need that in the playoffs. They're going to need that in these tight games. And look, that might be just the ticket to them making the run and winning it all. Now, another team that when they're at their best can compete with those three teams above them is the Greenville Tribe. But the question has been, which Greenville team is going to show up on any given day? Because you can see here, sometimes it just doesn't fall right for Rick Wright's side. But other days, you've got Lyon McKinnon, the Golden Boot winner, leading the charge. They can barrage you with attacks, with goals, with shots. At their best, they can make the run and they can win it all. That's for certain. Now we get to the bottom half of the table as far as the seeding is concerned. And this is a 1 Knoxville team that definitely wears the badge of defense, wins championships very seriously. No team has been scored on less this year. They're tied in the league with clean sheets. Sean Lewis, the Golden Glove winner. Just major kudos to this team. They've been so tough to crack down. Ilya Illich stepping in and doing a fantastic job in that regard. As we pivot over to the Charlotte Independents. Now, this is a Charlotte team that's been in a rough skid as of late. Not great form for Mike Jeffrey's side, but here's the fact of the matter. They're the best returning team when it comes to where they finished in the playoffs last season. They made it to the final. They've been there before, and they've got a ton of those pieces back, including adding Juan Carlos Obregon Jr., who was second in the Golden Boot race this season. So why not the Charlotte Independents? They just got to turn around the script. Speaking of a team that needs to turn it around as of late, Spokane Velocity has not been looking good for them as of late. Not a good run of form. But here's the deal. They're a brand new club. They have made it to the playoffs in their first year, so major kudos need to be given to Lee Viedman, his staff, and the players who have stepped in and have really made an impact in their opening year as a club. Luis Heel in particular has been amazing, scoring and supplying goals for this Velocity team. So they just need to recapture some form and carry some of that first season magic on. Meanwhile, last but not least, the Richmond Kickers, the Young Bucks, who are in this one, coached by Darren Sawatsky, but led by Emiliano Terzaghi up top. When you've got Emmy on the team, the all-time leading goal scorer in USL League One history, you have a chance. So with that in mind, this Richmond Kickers team just needs some of that nothing to lose magic. With that in mind, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll have news and notes for you.
Yeah. Get it. Get it. Should've got a dog.
When mice show up, so do we. Terminix it. same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked Bebidas.
I kept it pushing and busting and moving and running and shaking and hustling. My competition be mad at themselves because they keep up falling down and struggling. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. I keep it real. Yeah, that's what I'm about.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
There's a new airline in town. Breeze Airways has arrived at GSP International Airport with nonstop flights to 5 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees, and convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight from GSP today.
Welcome back here to the show on ESPN Plus. Here are your news and notes presented by Tiger Bomb. We already touched base on the brand new stadium coming for the Greenville Triumph. We also mentioned Boise. They're coming to the USL. Can't wait for that. And then, of course, the Golden Awards have been announced. So congratulations to Lyon McKinnon and Sean Lewis in particular, but also Alfredo Midense, who ran away with the Golden Playmaker Award, as we look at the other games that are coming up on the quarterfinal schedule here in USL League One. The 2 games later this evening on ESPN Plus: Ford Madison, Charlotte Independence, and then Northern Colorado Hailstorm and Spokane Velocity. And then on Sunday, Union Omaha and the Richmond Kickers will be doing battle. The winner of that game will be playing the winner of this game, as you can see here on the updated bracket brought to you by Terminix. Right now, it looks like Greenville Tribe will be moving on, but still have 45 more minutes of action here. And I cannot wait to see just how this bracket unfolds. Largest playoff in the history of USL League One. 8 teams a part of the dance, which gives us more opportunities for absolute chaos, for a beautiful game to be played. We get it every year. Maybe we'll get multiple this time around. We'll be back for the second half after this.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
One little lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean big. Bigger than jackpot big. Like back in 2014, when lottery funds helped upgrade South Carolina's classrooms, giving students the tools they needed to follow their biggest ideas wherever they live, through school and far beyond. For over 20 years, the biggest lottery wins have been and always will be for our state students. After all, education is our middle name.
This evening's USL League One broadcast is brought to you by YMCA of Greenville, proud sponsor of the Greenville Triumph. Let's take a look at the first half highlights here for you. Between the Triumph and one Knoxville, 16th minute, things start getting going, but it's a big opportunity for Frank Ross. A fortuitous pass going his direction. Tried to sneak it by Gunther Rankenberg on that near post, but Rankenberg was up for the task.
Yeah, Tyler Polak sloppy there, but a good stop from Rankenberg. No stop here, though, as Tyler Polak gets things going.
Serves it up to Evan Lee, takes a glance, and goes into the back of the net. The two Greenville Triumph men who have been there since the beginning, connecting on that play and making it happen for the home side. This an opportunity for Knoxville to find an answer, but wouldn't find it there. And here are your halftime stats brought to you by Coca-Cola. Worth noting the Greenville Triumph, a .1 XG. Meanwhile, one Knoxville with .4 expected goals. Ross, though, the one thing that these stats will not be able to tell you is the fact that Chapa Herrera is no longer going to be playing in this game because he suffered an injury in that first half, and that's so significant for the Greenville Triumph, and there's not really a number that can demonstrate why that's the case.
It's a shame for Greenville. They kind of shut up shop the second half of that first half. Didn't have a shot on goal themselves after that goal that went in. But also limited Knoxville, as you saw in the highlights. There wasn't a ton of action in either final third.
The two ends will be swapped. The Greenville Tribe will be going right to left, Knoxville left to right as we await for the go-ahead from Thomas Snyder. And there it is. 45 more minutes. Can one Knoxville find an answer, or will Greenville move on to the next round? We welcome you in once again here on ESPN+. I'm Mark Schoenster. I'm joined by Ross Davenport. Excited once again to be bringing you playoff soccer here in USL League One.
The first 15 minutes of this second half are going to be interesting. I expect we'll see Greenville certainly try and push for that second goal. And at that hour mark, we're going to see what Illich does.
Velasquez subbed in the first half for Chapa Herrera. Two marquee acquisitions in the offseason for Rick Wright as he looked to construct a roster in his first season as the head man of the Greenville Tribe. He's been around the organization, though, for its entire history as an assistant all the way up to this season, and then earning that promotion. Early corner kick for the Greenville Triumph. Polak sends this one in. Daniel Wu got on the end of it. Still in the thick of things, headed along, palmed upward, and then claimed by Lewis.
Well worked set piece. Wu, second attempt with a header back across, and Castro right on the doorstep. Sean Lewis got his hands up very quickly. You see Sean Lewis having trouble with the sun on that side. Castro made good contact there. Lewis in the right place to make that key stop.
Sean Lewis, running one goal through, has saved 80% of the shots that have come his way this season. 7 clean sheets. Best goals against average in the league. Of course, that's what will earn you the Golden Glove, of course.
So many great goalkeepers in this league. Some a little more active than others. I mentioned to you at halftime, DJ Bush with twice as many saves this season. Both heroic efforts from him and Lewis.
I've said it once, I've probably said it 1,000 times, Ross, but as is always the case, a clean sheet is a team stat.
That foul on Castro. Not much in it. Jordan Skelton was a physical player. There wasn't a ton of contact there. Hooked his foot around Castro. Castro went down a little easy. Got the call, as wily veterans will.
The 35-year-old Colombian at the top of the formation for the Greenville Triumph. His second season with the squad. Was 5th in the league in shots attempted this season with 44. McKinnon sending that ball inside. Just dipped down in front of Daniel Wu.
Was floating there tantalizingly for a second. What's it? It was clear that no Knoxville player was going to get ahead, and Wu was in the vicinity. Just couldn't get anything on the end of it.
How will this Knoxville team find an answer here?
Silly from Castro that might find him in the book as the first one to do so this game.
Words being exchanged between Castro and Sievert Haugley. Lewis getting in on the chirping as well.
Sean Lewis indicating there was an elbow involved. I didn't see that. Certainly a bit of a silly late challenge from the veteran. He'll be in the book.
So our first booking of the evening or afternoon, how you want to define it.
Just a shoulder.
There may have been a little elbow action on the underneath Ross.
It's just a little needless. If you're gonna have your center forward pick up a yellow card, you'd rather see it mean something. That one just a little careless.
Player goes down, free kick for Greenville. Talk to Ilya Illich about what becomes really important when you need to make a playoff run. This is the guy who won titles with Lou City in the USL Championship, so he knows what it takes to win in the postseason, because it is a different game. He said it's all about mentality, as Evan Lee, the goal scorer, looks to start a combination. They lose the ball, but it falls back to Lee, courtesy of Anguiano. Evan Lee tries to shoot, and it'll roll wide. There's Evan Lee once again. Scored the goal in the first half, was looking to make it 2 here. When it comes to mentality, Ilya Illich said that you don't want to be scared. You have to be positive in your decision making. Mentality is the key, and that's what they've been locking in on. That's what both coaches told us. They said mentality is really important when you get to the playoffs, which would lead me to believe that it makes it more true that that's what you need. If both coaches are saying the same thing without advising with one or the other.
Big question in this game is when will Illich's mentality change with this Knoxville team? At some point, he's going to have to start throwing bodies forward as Brendan Fricky feeling contact with the cheek. Let's have Castro on the bench. Stavros Arakostas, another guy who wants to get forward. Head-to-head contact there. Listen, this Knoxville team, is it the kind of team that you expect will get a goal when they need a goal? This is the real test here.
Knoxville haven't scored a goal in their last 2 games. Into this game now. 2 0-0 draws to close out the season. They scored twice against Central Valley Fuego prior to that. It has now been over 200 minutes since the last time this squad has found the back of the net. Angelo Kelly. Now played out wide to Calixtro. It's a great ball from him. Lobbed inside, and although there was a connection on the other end, Angelo Kelly didn't get a lot of heat on that one. All he could do was slide and deflect it towards goal.
Just a little out in front of McKelly. He had to slide for it as a result. Didn't quite get the contact he wanted on it. The last 3 games they have had to score a goal, Knoxville, or they have scored a goal, excuse me, they've come from behind. So it is in them to do such things.
McKinnon squares it across, finds Velasquez. Did not hit that one the way he would have liked. Top of the 18, you want to rip your laces through that one, and it just scuffed off his feet.
Yeah, good pass. Good pass from McKinnon. Sucking 2 Knoxville players in, and 2 more half paying attention to him. That opened things up a little bit for Velasquez, who, as you said, Mark, scuffed that one. You want that one back.
This one's still in play. Tyler Polak feeding Castro. Now Corvino. Nate Schultz has the ball as Greenville will get some more bodies forward. That also means Knoxville could get situated defensively, establish their structure. Gonna roll all the way back to Rankenberg.
Knoxville will press on occasion with the front 3. We haven't seen them have a ton of opportunities to do it so far tonight. Most of their opportunities have been on the transition into that Greenville final third.
So we're seeing a similar lineup that Greenville had. At least the starting lineup was similar to that Greenville had last week, which included Pascal Corvino getting a shot at that right winger spot.
Yes.
Which we hadn't seen all season long, and then he comes in and scores a goal from that spot, and even outside of that was very involved in the game and looked really good. Number 16, you see him there just beyond the ball next to Nate Schultz. Apparently it was something that Rick Wright and his side experimented with in the preseason, and he said it totally flopped. They've been working on it all year long, and it still wasn't quite clicking. And then last week, had a spirited discussion, to put it lightly, with Pascal Corvino, and then they put him in, and he exceeded all expectations. So I guess whatever they talked about worked. And Rick Wright said, look, his energy is so infectious that even Chapa Herrera, who is the certified effort man, maybe was pushing himself to work a little harder seeing Pascal Corvino play.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that Rick Wright has been talking about all season, but as most rookies go, he had a bit of an up and down campaign. Playing mostly centrally when he did play.
Castro chipping this one up for McKinnon, but getting there first is Sean Lewis. He knew the situation, and he made sure he didn't put himself in any precarious spot.
Yeah, Skelton did a good job of getting himself between Ryan McKinnon and that ball.
Skelton feeding it for Calixtro. Calixtro looking sharp on the ball today when it's at his feet. Now he'll roll this one forward. Kelly working on Polak. Angelo Kelly, he's looking smooth with the ball at his feet. And he goes down. Now where did this foul take place? It's a point to the spot. Tyler Polak pleading his case that it was outside the penalty area. But Thomas Snyder has made the word.
It's not, I mean, to me, that's not even a question. At least 6 inches outside the box. You see Tyler Polak not even looking at the official. Maybe referee Snyder will have a word with his AR on this side, but it doesn't look like it.
It's certainly a foul, but the location of the foul proving oh so critical here. And it will be a penalty kick. Kempis Tequila will have the opportunity to buck a goal-scoring drought of his. He scored 9 goals this season, which is tied for 4th in league play. And he will be one-on-one with Gunther Rankenberg with an opportunity to equalize here. The German striker, Kempis Tequila. Can he bring this one back to level terms? Tequila scores! 1-1 here in the quarterfinal. Kempis Tequila puts it away. In a goal that may be steeped in controversy. But Kempis Tequila still had to convert from the spot, and he did just that.
Yeah, composed finish by the German, but Greenville management and players will not be composed when they see the replay of that foul by Tyler Pollack, which at first glance looked to be outside the box. Replay seemed to confirm it was outside the box. We'll take another look at it again here.
The penalty surely taken by Kempis Tequila. I asked about him this week with Ilya Ilic and about this drought he's been on. It's been a long time since he scored a goal, even longer since he scored a goal in open play, which, of course, that streak still continues here. But sometimes even just finding one of the back of the net in any capacity can put you back in the right direction. And Ilya Ilic said that it can be hard for a striker to go on a spell like this, but he's been in his ear telling him that he, as in Ilya Ilic, trusts him, that the team trusts him. And when they got the chance to take a penalty, there's no doubt Kempis Tequila was going to be the one to take it. And if they can get him running and going, then this is a Knoxville team that's going to be awfully tough to beat here in the postseason. Because you know they're going to bring it on the defensive end. It's always just been, well, they offer up scoring chances themselves. So now, this game takes another turn. 1-1 your scoreline. And Gunther Rankenberg needs to hit the emergency button there. Whistle blows.
Offside decision, I think. Greenville player coming back from an offside position.
In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.us.soccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have access to resources they need to recover.
See if the Rounders fans get to enjoy a playoff victory later tonight against Detroit City.
McKinnon trying to serve that one inside for Velasquez. Fallen on top of by Sean Lewis. We'll see if that man will get a chance to put his team ahead once again. Perhaps will it be the visitors who have just found an equalizer? Will it be an extra boost of positivity for Ilya Ilic's side?
Doing a good job of keeping McKinnon in check so far. Just the one shot for the man from Switzerland. One chance created as well.
Fricky rolls this one back to Rankenberg. With roughly 30 more minutes to go, we're all level here. A goal in the first half by Evan Lee. And then a penalty decision. And it's not quite one that's going to be unanimously accepted. Brings us back to 1 goal apiece. Rick Wright and Ilya Ilic now will have to do some stewing and some thinking about what kind of adjustments are necessary. Because as of this moment, it's not just 30 more minutes, but 60. Here's Corvino. We'll roll this one out wide to Nate Schultz. Back inside from Schultz, and it's picked up by Anguiano. Playing that one ahead, headed outward by Skelton. And he does a little extra to prevent it from being dangerous. Jordan Skelton, second in the league this year with 115 clearances. He's a guy who's always near the top of that leaderboard year in and year out since his North Carolina FC days. The only person ahead of him this year is Spielman over in Charlotte. This one played out to Kelly. Kelly's got some pace to him. Angelo Kelly. And he double teamed. And Evan Lee losing his footing. No foul called. Ritchie from the other end now. No one's there for the service. It's out for a goal kick. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Castro rolls it to Tyler Pollock. Evan Lee turns it back to him. Corvino laying it out to Schultz. Both sides taking trips into the attacking third, exchanging them back and forth. Schultz with the cross, searching for Castro. Velasquez gets tripped, and that'll be a free kick just outside the penalty area. Set piece opportunity for Greenville.
Clumsy challenge here from Seeger Howley. Just caught a little flat-footed by this left little dink here, and he stuck that left leg out. Chance for Greenville to perhaps get that one-goal lead back. Kennan will fancy his chances here, as will Lee.
We also saw that guy score one heck of a goal just a couple of weeks ago when he got the opportunity to curl it from far out. But you would imagine that number 9's the one who's going to try this one. 16 goals this season.
One of the comfortable side for a left-footed strike.
Velasquez lets it rip, doesn't get very far. Play it out to McKinnon. Here's his cross. Trying to get that one into Leo Castro. Big body target inside the penalty area. Sebastian Velasquez getting the opportunity to let one fly there, but there was a lot of bodies that ball needed to get through.
I understand the tactics behind the little roll and shot, but just allowed Knoxville the time to close down that distance.
Here comes Castro once again to Corvino. Velasquez taps it to Lee. Now McKinnon. Back up top to Lee. It was just behind him. He had to turn once he got the ball.
And everybody thought Ryan McKinnon was going to have a crack from there. I've seen him do it before, but unselfish.
Nice idea from Polak, but it's ending up a goal kick. Make sure to visit shopgreenvilletriumph.com to check out the latest merch and kit launches. I know they recently announced that blue uniform, Ross, that we saw. I think we talked about it a week or two ago.
We did. I approve of it. Sort of the reverse of the green checkered kit a couple of years ago. It's the Triumph Anthem kit.
A trio of Knoxville players there, all could have been capable of receiving that pass. And they'll bring this one forward. Ross sends it inside, headed away by Wu. Haugley. He's been such a solid piece to this Knoxville midfield all season long. Lickstro's cross going upward, and Anguiano clears it away. Yeah, Haugley is another one of those guys that falls into the conversation of premier workhorse in the league. Stuart Ritchie from that left wing. And it's out harmlessly.
And this game just sort of perched on the edge here. You feel like it could go any way now at this point. After that debatable penalty decision.
That's how we find ourselves at this point in time. 1-1 apiece. Polak progressing forward, tried to sneak it to Castro, couldn't get there. Foul is called, and it's going in favor of the visitors. A bit of a poke check there from Carlos Anguiano. Once again, getting the start here. Just 6 starts in the regular season, but getting the look here in the postseason.
Will certainly be needed to step up. The loss, likely loss, I'll say, of Chapa Herrera. To what looked like a nasty arm injury in that first half, right about the half-hour mark.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 in the new Sirius XM app. Calixtro taps it out to Frank Ross. Ross weaving back and forth. Polak doing well there. Tyler Polak standing strong, regardless of Frank Ross or Giovanni Calixtro in front of him. And we're gonna get some substitutions.
Substitution for Knoxville.
Yeah, game got a little stale since the penalty, and this man can certainly change the pace of things.
Stavros Zerakostas. He'll sub in for Frank Ross. So that little weaving act moments ago. The last bit of action we'll see from the Scotsman.
I mean, Greenville will certainly feel hard done by the penalty decision, but they haven't managed to put a shot on target in this second half as of yet. It's just sitting back a little too much. Just change. Much alike for like. Frank Ross was on the left. Zerakostas more of a right-sided player.
That looked like a push. That'll be a free kick in favor of Greenville.
It's definitely a push. Not a subtle one from Mr. Howland.
Fans, don't forget to join us in the Michelob Ultra supporter section to get autographs from your favorite Triumph players post-match.
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. A lot of emphasis recently for Greenville to try to get that ball into Leo Castro. Put in extra work this week, according to Rick Wright. He's looked good in training. Perhaps that's the guy they need to find in the penalty area. He's been such a leader on this team all season long. Meanwhile, the breakaway in the other direction. Here come one Knoxville. And the substitute, Stavros Sarakostas, couldn't find the back of the net, but he does earn a corner kick.
Yeah, right into the thick of it. And Daniel Wu beat for pace. Wu did a good job of not committing the foul. Got his foot in there. Put that one away for a corner kick before that man could unleash the go-ahead goal potentially.
The Greek forward, acquired in the middle of the season.
He's a real energy guy. Certainly a guy that can change this kind of game in a heartbeat. He almost did right there.
Set piece opportunity for one Knoxville. They were able to level the game here in the second half. Can they find the advantage? Calixtro. Couldn't get it by Daniel Wu. Came up big a moment ago and does well again there. Here's Corvino with some room to operate. Nate Schultz streaking behind him and now by him. McKinnon, one-timer, tried to connect with Castro, just beyond his outstretched leg. That was wonderfully done by McKinnon.
Two superb balls, the long one to Corvino, and this one from, I want to see that Castro perhaps wasn't expecting that from McKinnon. Very great piece of technical ability from the second-year man, but doesn't look like Castro was ready for it. He expected McKinnon perhaps to take a touch and then figure out what to do with it. What McKinnon was trying to do is also catch the Knoxville defense napping, but in the end, another chance goes by for the home team. Still seeking the first shot on target of the second half. Maybe had 2 in the first half.
One substitution made in the second half, and it was made by Ilya Illich. Will we see many more personnel changes here? Because the other thing you have to account for is this is, as of right now, not a game that's going to end at 90, so you have to consider how you want to manage minutes with that thought in mind. Now, if you go up a goal, then you really start thinking about throwing the kitchen sink at maintaining that lead.
And Rick Wright's also got the issue that Jamie Smith's not fully healthy. Neither is Ben Zakowski on the bench. Federico Estatric and Rodrigo Rebes haven't played a ton.
Anguiano.
Oops.
Some extracurriculars after the ball had already left the premise.
Anguiano getting a little frustrated. He's not the biggest player in the world. Getting bullied a little bit out there by these bigger Knoxville guys in the back. Call it the center back 5. There's the 3 plus Johnson and Haugley in front of him.
Carlos Anguiano from Salem, Oregon. Mentioned in the first half, coming over from Phoenix Rising. So it was a part of the ride there last season. And he'll be the one to take it here. Oh, headed back across the middle. May have just gotten a piece of Velasquez there, even if he didn't intend it to. And Knoxville now run the other direction. Sarakostas getting by Anguiano. Sarakostas back across the center. But well positioned was Tyler Polak. He knew it was coming, and he got right in that lane.
Sarakostas is a much needed spark to this game with his pace and technical ability. Tyler Polak in the right place at the right time there. Trying to make amends for that, I'm going to put it in quotes, penalty foul. Obviously had the assist earlier.
Well, this is a giveaway. Leo Castro taking it forward. Castro still going. He's taken down. Leo Castro's been taken down after passing Sean Lewis.
Well, the double jeopardy situation is going to come in here. Sean Lewis shouldn't be sent off. Should only be a yellow card, yeah. Even if it was a Dogso situation, because it was in the penalty box. It's not a, you can't get a red card unless there's no attempt to play the ball whatsoever, which he was clearly trying to do, but what a mistake. Castro looked like he made a complete meal of it here with the rollover, but then Sean Lewis just stuck out his arm. He didn't really need to, he had help back. Took Castro down. A second penalty of the evening. This one definitely a penalty. We'll see if Greenville can take advantage.
So now Leo Castro drawing the penalty. Now Lion McKinnon is the one holding the ball here. It's a very interesting discussion because obviously Lion McKinnon's your Golden Boot winner, but Castro, a veteran, 7 goals this season, drew the penalty, but he will pass off responsibilities to McKinnon. This is a Greenville Triumph team at times this year have struggled from the penalty spot, but Lion McKinnon converted one last week. He'll look to convert one here. It's the Golden Boot winner versus the Golden Glove winner in an oh-so-crucial penalty kick. And now we just await the go-ahead from Thomas Snyder. Lion McKinnon, he's done it. The Greenville Triumph have the lead once again. And the Golden Man continues to shine this season.
Top shelf once again from Lion McKinnon. Never shows any sense of nervousness on these kicks. Yes, there were some issues earlier this season with Greenville and penalty kicks, but he's been the man late of late as Castro earns it. And Lion McKinnon deposits it. Lewis guessed right, but just didn't get across quickly enough, and it was a well-struck penalty.
Well, this is the first time that one Knoxville have conceded more than 1 goal in months. And you mentioned it, the last time it happened was against the Greenville Triumph back in June 22nd to be exact. And in that game, Sean Lewis got a straight red card for a challenge just outside the penalty area in that game. It was a 2-0 victory for Greenville then in Knoxville. It's a 2-1 lead for Greenville now with 10 minutes to go. That goal brought to you by the YMCA of Greenville and Lion McKinnon. Can the visitors find a response? And it's time to make some changes if you're Ilya Illich.
Yeah, here comes the changes now. Off Callum Johnson, running the single pivot.
Innocent Nshuti steps in for Gio Calixtro. Rodolfo Castro also readying himself to get into the game. He'll step in for Callum Johnson, as you mentioned. So some offensive force.
With Calixtro off, you have to expect Knoxville may just go to straight 4 at the back. We'll see exactly how they set up here.
So with about 9 minutes roughly, then you have the add-on some time there as well to go. Knoxville need to find an answer, and they have another player down for Greenville. Looks to be Anguiano. Carlos Anguiano, whom you mentioned, Ross, could end up being a pivotal player for Greenville here in this postseason. Should the Chapa Herrera news not be what they're looking for and not be ready for a potential game next week and a potential game the week after that.
Right. Giving his instructions here for what could be the final 10 minutes or so. Try and answer these substitutions. Obviously offensively minded substitutions, as you would expect for Amelia Illich.
And like you mentioned, Ross, they don't really have another defensive midfield option, Greenville, to sub in.
Obviously, you do have Evan Lee on the field at the moment. They just drop a little deeper. Angiano was grabbing his hip. So he's getting adjusted by the trainer. Evan Lee, as you see, staying on the field here.
So we're going to get 3 changes here readying up, or actually that just looks like 2. Angiano just preparing to get waved back on. That is if he wasn't getting subbed out. So Jamie Smith will sub into the game. Jamie Smith, another guy who could be a bit flexible in the way that he could be plugged into a couple of different spots. And then Leo Castro is out, and Rodrigo Robles steps in. These substitutions brought to you by Spinks.
Yeah, some fresh legs up front here to do some chasing. See where Jamie Smith ends up going.
These changes will be the adjustment of the match, brought to you by Upstate Spine and Sport. It's what you get paid to do as a coach when you get put into a weird bind positionally. What players do you put in, and how do you reshape yourself?
Looks like Daniel Wu may step up into defensive midfield. Smith now alongside Fricky at center back.
Robles just subbing into the game. Still Rodrigo Robles, and then he takes a foul. Free kick in favor of Greenville.
Robles doing a good job here. Getting fouled. Stay down for a minute.
Rodrigo Robles. You see Zaragoza's there right there too. Something those two guys have in common. Mid-season acquisitions for their respective sides. Both looking to add a little extra juice on the attacking end. You called Zaragoza an energy guy. Rodrigo Robles could also fit into that category. A guy can add a little zip on the offensive end, maybe when things are getting a little stale. Zaragoza, though, maybe a bit too eager there, getting the yellow card on that contact to Robles. That GSP Airport yellow card. Adolfo Castro plays it up to Ritchie. Stuart Ritchie down that left flank. Ritchie hits it through the legs of Nate Schultz. Falls to the top of the 18. Service cleared away. Fans, download the FanSaves app and follow the Greenville Triumph for access to exclusive deals at your favorite restaurants and breweries.
Certainly be a party at some of those restaurants and breweries tonight if Greenville can hold on to this 1-goal lead. Just one mistake, one key mistake by Knoxville. They were in control of the game until that point. One of those ones where I looked down, looked up, as you said, Castro was on the races, off to the races on his own. That's the difference so far in this one. Almost took him down, but still time. We're going to have obviously quite a chunk of stoppage at the end of this one.
Evan Lee with a goal in the first half, and then a pair of penalties here in the second mean that it's a 2-1 scoreline. The Greenville Triumph looking to be the first team to punch their ticket to the semifinals this season. This is a team that, for the first time in their history, underwent a coaching change with John Hark stepping down. Rick Wright already within the organization, promoted to that head spot. The question going into the year was, how much different was it going to look? They brought back some of those familiar names, but also made some significant changes. Castro. And that's going to be a corner kick.
You can see Danny Fernandez has gone over to play right back. She dropping back to left back now, straight four at the back for Illich as he tries to push basically everybody else up. Hagley, the only pivot now at the 6th spot.
Kempis Tequila, the one who scored the penalty for Knoxville. Drives in the service. It falls down inside the penalty area. Cleared away. Tequila, another ball in, and it bounces wide, and it's another corner kick for Knoxville.
Knoxville putting the pressure on now, turning up the heat in the Greenville box. Tequila with the ball in. We see who got a final touch on it. May have come off the back. Jamie Smith, perhaps.
Their first ever professional postseason one, Knoxville looking to keep it alive. Brandon Fricke, the captain, knocking that one away, and now Robles with his fresh legs chasing that one down, and he just lobs it forward. Lewis will need to be careful there. He gets run into by Liam McKinnon. A collision between those award winners.
It was a heavy touch by Lewis. Not heavy enough for Liam McKinnon to get on the end of it, but he certainly put the pressure on and got called for the foul. Another few precious seconds off the clock.
And Schutte goes out to Fernandez. Angelo Kelly traversing along. Bunker down time for Greenville. Haugley tapping it out to Fernandez. We're in the 90th minute now, and we just await what the fourth official adds onto this soccer game.
However long it is going to be too much. However long it is going to be too long for the Greenville fans. That's for sure.
Fernandez playing this one back. Frisler connecting with Skelton. Two longtime League One vets there. Velasquez drew the foul in the process. The whistle blows. And we hit the 90-minute mark. 6 more minutes to go. Buckle up, folks. It's going to come down to the wire here in the opening match of the USL League One playoffs. Greenville looking to return to the semifinals, a place they've been to so often in this league's history. A team that really became the first bannerman of success in this league. Consistent success, I should say. Now, Union Omaha, as of late, has really taken that crown with back-to-back Players' Shield titles. They've more recently won the league. Another substitution coming in for Greenville. Another midseason acquisition in Federico Estachuk. He'll sub in for Velasquez. Now, we mentioned Velasquez started on the bench in this game, so we weren't sure exactly how many minutes he was ready for, and then he had to step in the first half after Herrera went down. It's been about 60 minutes. And so the Colombian comes off, and he's replaced by the Argentine. That substitution brought to you by Spinks. Nearly a heads-up play there for Greenville. Got about 4 more minutes to go in this one. Inventive, but not successful. McKinnon driving this one up ahead. Estachuk will give chase. Jordan Skelton gets taken down. The classic defender move. Hit between the ball, the striker, take that contact. Rudy River Ride, though, won't like it.
Asking for the dive.
That one looping along nicely. And then Gunther Rankenberg sliding to prevent the corner kick there.
That was a great bit of play by Gunther Rankenberg with the slide. I didn't think he was going to get there. He was going to go out for the corner.
That was nice. Cleared away. Time ticking away for this Knoxville team. They're staring down the end of their season as they know it. Here's some open space, the volley! Over top. Two different players were right there. So perhaps an extra moment of hesitation. But boy, did that one have some punch to it.
Let that one perhaps have clipped the inside of the bar, but it ended up being the outside of the bar from Danny Fernandez, of all people. Pushing up now from his defensive spot. Greenville just trying to hang on here. It does turn out to be a victory. It hasn't been a pretty one, but I think we all knew coming in that this game had the potential to be a slugfest, or a slog, I should say.
McKinnon serves it centrally to Estachuk. It's cleared away nicely. Knoxville doing everything they can to give themselves a chance. Well flicked on. A shirt tug, a professional foul from Schultz. And he'll go into the books for that one.
It is a good yellow card if you've ever seen one, but let's put the pressure on now. Deep free kick inside Greenville territory. Inside the last 2 minutes. We'll see if it was the right decision or not.
The most professional fouls for someone who's the pro's pro, according to Rick Wright.
Yes.
Sean Lewis has joined the fray up top. So it's an open goal as of right now on the other end. Service comes driving in, headed along and off target. And now Lewis will make that long run back for this goal kick. It's a win-win situation here for Greenville. You could potentially try and hurry and beat him back, or you could just chisel away more of this clock with just a minute to go. And Rick Wright, in his first year as the head man, looking to claim his first playoff victory as a head coach of this program. He's seen this team win big games before. Is there another opportunity here? Ritchie, one-on-one with Schultz. That's been about all day. That's a lovely turn. Service comes in, headed away by Wu. 30 more seconds to go. Skelton rips it inside. Falls to the top of the 18. Player goes down. Ref says get up. Still an opportunity, and he shoots. Here's an effort, and it's wide of the target. And it's a point to the corner flag. This might be the last moment of the game.
And Brandon Fricky with a last-ditch slide to knock that one wide. And it does result in perhaps, as you said, Mark, the last chance here for the visitors.
Sean Lewis returns to the box. One last gasp for Knoxville. Can they make it happen? It's headed away by Greenville. Another throw in for Knoxville. Kelly throws it. Interjected by Pollock. And there you have it. The Greenville triumph. We're moving on to the USL League One semifinals. They knock off one Knoxville 2-1 in a tense affair. Rick Wright in his first year. They will continue on for one more weekend. They will play the winner of Union Omaha and the Richmond Kickers, which takes place tomorrow. It's Evan Lee and Liam McKinnon who score goals for the Greenville Triumph to give them the 2-1 victory over one Knoxville. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+.
What exactly is a Sully steamer? Our sandwiches are made to order, which means once you've taken a look at our big menu and narrowed down your options, we go to work. Our sandwiches are stuffed with fresh, flavorful ingredients and then placed in our special steamer, until the sandwich gets warm and soft and fuses all the flavors together to achieve the peak of tastiness. Are you hungry yet?
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
Who would have thought the Golden Boot winner would have the game winner in the first round of the USL League One playoffs? Color me shocked. 2-1 your final score here. Greenville Triumph victorious over 1 Knoxville. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here on ESPN Plus. As we wrap this one up, here are your full-time highlights. These full-time highlights, by the way, brought to you by GSP Airport. First off, the goal from one vet to another. Tyler Pollock connecting with Evan Lee.
Pollock finding himself in space. On the gap for the pullback to Evan Lee and another first-time finish by the former centre-back.
And a bit of a controversial moment here. Tyler Pollock once again in the highlight reel, but this time in the wrong form. A sliding challenge right on that perimeter. It looked to be outside. The ref points to the penalty spot, and Kempis Tequila ties this game up.
Yeah, certainly a debatable decision. Thomas Snyder had a good view of it. Thought it was inside the box, and then the mistake late on here with 10 minutes to go. Castro played through by a Knoxville player and taken down by Sean Lewis. Another quality finish on the penalty by Liam McKinnon, and that's the difference in this one.
Here are your full-time stats brought to you by Coca-Cola. You see there, Knoxville, especially in that second half, really started to put it on the Greenville Triumph. But the fact of the matter is, Greenville made those shots count when they did. And Knoxville late in the game, even though there was a barrage, they could not break through to find that equalizer. 2-1 your final score. And that's what lead us to this bracket updated, brought to you by Terminix. Greenville are moving on. Already mentioned tomorrow, Union Omaha and the Richmond Kickers will be playing. But we still have 2 more games tonight. Some excellent matches on the other end of the bracket between the Independents and Madison, along with Spokane and the Hailstorm to close out your Saturday night. This one was fun. I'm sure we're going to have some more drama and excitement here, not only today, but tomorrow throughout the USL League One playoffs. But that is where this broadcast will come to its conclusion. For our entire broadcasting crew, for Ross Davenport, my name is Mark Schoenster. We appreciate you tuning in. We hope you had a great time. We certainly did. And we will see you next time here on ESPN Plus. Your final score, the Greenville Triumph 2, 1 Knoxville 1. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.